Hello again, everyone. Deflect here for Fair Gaming. Want to bring you a new video. This is going to be on toxic people in M Plus and what I think we could do to fix it. Because if you've played any M Plus this season, I'm sure you run into your fair share of toxic people. Now, there's two different categories I find as toxic. There's toxic people being toxic in chat, and there's levers, which are also toxic. So levers when it's not the key isn't finished or you still have a chance of timing, they just bail. I call that toxic because everyone else wants to run and they just bail. I think there's a way we could hopefully fix that. And the other one is toxic people just being toxic in chat. And I don't know why people feel the need they should be, but I've been wanting to make a video like this for a bit because, you run a lot of keys. I've run 350 keys this season. So I've run a ton of keys. And it just seems like there's toxic people for no need at all. The last one that I ran that I found the most toxic person was a tank, and they tried to. Well, I was on a druid. The group was doing fine. Like it wasn't a problem. Like we missed the key by 9 seconds. Anyways, first pull. I'll just show you. They ended up dying here as a Vengeance Demon Hunter. They didn't even pop meta, so that was their own mistake. But then they went on to everything after that, trying to blame someone else, mainly trying to blame me as a DPS, which, whatever. I played Vengeance, so I know how they were playing. When you only use on a 30-minute key your metamorphosis 5 times, you did not do well. When you only use your fiery brands 12 times in a 30-minute key, you didn't do well, and that's the reason you're dying. Stop blaming other people. I'm not going to blame their name or anything, but they also decided they should tank the second mob here. So ended up, I think Starfall caught one of these mobs down here. After this mob was aggro, because once you get these low, oops, I killed them. They actually run away. So they actually run up this area. So when I ended up moonfiring, it actually hit the other target, so that pulled in. And then for some reason, when this pulled, this got pulled at the same time. And of course, they wanted to flame someone else, not for their tank positioning that should have been over here, but because the DPS pulled when the mob got close to the other one, it was an aggro distance. So that was always fun. But yeah, they definitely tried to flame everyone but themselves, which is always interesting. They even tried to flame on the if anyone knows the last pack of this dungeon, you go across a bridge and there's a pack on the top of the hill. We need a percent, and when you run up, they aggro because you get pretty close. You don't have to, but they do. And we were short on time, so you should aggro them anyway. You wanted to blame me for aggroing them too quick when I ran past when 3 other people were running at the same time. So just a total buck passer, as it were. But I am gonna get into the video and gonna make a chart about toxic people and why they feel the need, or what key levels feel the need to be the most toxic, because I find at certain key levels they're more toxic than others, and I find it's for different key levels for different things. Like toxic people in a group are a certain key level, and other ones like levers are definitely another level. But if you have any questions during the video, don't forget to leave a comment below, like, share, subscribe, and let me know how your season 2 went and what you're maining for season 3, and if you run into a lot of toxic people in season 2. So hopefully we can alleviate some of the toxicity, because it gets a little ridiculous. And the mob I'm talking about is this mob right here. So when you run past the cannon, you can aggro them. And I ran over here, but because someone else also ran close, they'd aggroed the mob. So that's all. Because this is a normal, I actually have to get really close because they die almost instantly. But in actual M plus, they don't die that, or they get aggro a lot quicker. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. So I'm just going to do this in paint. We're going to call it a day at that. I'm going to just write it in, scribble it on with whatever paintbrush I can get here, or crayon or marker, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to go into the 2 sections, toxic and group, their ranking 1 to 3. What's the best? What's the worst? And the worst key levels to do with each of them. Like I found there's certain key levels to do that are like the group is more toxic on average, and the other one is levers are more frequent than average in these key levels. And the way I've seen it, it depends on worst key level, because in certain key levels, just some people are just so bad at being toxic in this game. Like it's just unbelievable how rude they can be. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but it happens a lot. Now I'm gonna go into the toxic group first. So these are the ones who are being in chat, being abusive, being rude, making fun of people, and not like one of the ones where they're just trying to help people, but literally like just flaming people, like the tank I had, trying to seem better than what they are, trying to seem above everyone, like just being complete dicks, is, you know, lack of a better word, they're just being douchebags. I find toxic groups, the worst key levels you can do for toxic groups is 14 to 19. There's so many toxic people in these levels, and doing a lot of alts, you just see it all the time. It is unbelievable. And it's people who are usually lower IO, like somewhere around 2500 to 2k to 2500. I found are like the IO that people are really douchebags with their main somewhere in there. I don't know what it is about that. Or yeah, just random. I had another one who was like 2600 last season who was just a complete douche. But I found number one are tanks. Tanks, and I think the problem is tanks have such an easy time getting into the keys. They don't care that they're douchebags and the group falls apart or the key didn't work out. They just have such an easy time. It doesn't matter to them. They'll flame everyone. Nothing is their fault for some reason. I've very rarely run into a lot of tanks at those key levels that want to take advice or hints or something. They already know everything. They want to do it their way, which fine. You want to do it your way, that's fine. But don't start calling other people out when things don't work doing it your way. And as a tank, I always try and listen. Maybe someone has a better idea. Maybe someone has a better route. Maybe someone has a better pulse, better spot. Always something you can learn while being a tank. I'm not perfect when I tank. I know that. But I try and learn. And I don't like to call people out while tanking. Just be like, hey, do you mind kicking more? Can you kick this mob? And try and be positive about it instead of that. So that's the way you can go about fixing it when you're doing it. As a tank, just be like, hey, we're missing kicks. You guys mind trying to focus on X target, or I'll mark them with blue diamond or blue square, and then someone can kick diamond. Stuff like that is a way to fix that. Second worst are DPS. They are close. DPS always like to blame people too. I don't know what it is. They like to blame the tank's route. They like to blame the tank for not doing it. Maybe that's why the tanks like to flame back nowadays. I don't know. But DPS is always, oh, it's your fault. Bad route, bad this, bad that. Guys, a lot of dungeons just come down to kicks. DPS, you have the most kicks, you should be kicking the most. Tanks have short kicks, but there's 3 of you. So in combination, you guys should be kicking more than the tank and stuff. That's my 2 cents about that. But like, just try and help them out. Be like, hey, we already have percentage. Do you mind if we skip this mob? If you can skip, does everyone have invis potions? Something. Try and do it in a more positive way. But DPS are also just ruthless and toxic in this key level, especially this key level. When you get higher, it's not bad. When you get lower, it's not bad. But that is the worst key level for toxic people. And healers, I'm not even putting 3. I'm putting 4. I rarely see a healer flame somebody. They're just there. They put their head down. Most of them do just go heal. That's it. They're like, I rarely have an issue with a healer being toxic in a group. Almost never. I don't know if I've just been lucky in the groups, but they've just had some great healers come through. Just they put their head down. They like playing the game. That's what they do. So yeah, I don't really have much to say bad about healers being toxic in a group. I just don't see it very much at all. We're gonna start at the worst key levels for this because that kind of sets the pace on this one. For levers, now there is a caveat to this part, because when you see the key levels, put it in here. Key levels from 20 to 22, I find are the worst for levers. And these are, we're not talking, oh, we're not going to like, oh, we're going to fail the key, everyone, we're just going to rip it. Cool. That we're not talking group conversation about it. We're talking just flat out in the middle of the key, gone, boom, ghost it offline. It does happen in these key levels as well, but this is the section of keys that I find it happens so many more. Like they just think you're not going to time it, or they don't know, or they just, you had a bad pull, it's done. Like it's so many things that they do where it's just gone. And it's not even a group conversation. It's just someone just boom, offline, gone. See ya. Quits group. It's over. And I find that's the worst for this section. Now, the worst key levers, I'm going to put DPS as number one. DPS, there's like, if it's a bad pull, DPS is gone. I've seen DPS, I've seen a pull like go into the dungeon, pull, and you finish the pull, it just doesn't go as quick as you thought. DPS leaves right away. It's brutal for levers. And I don't know what it is, the DPS pull ahead of tanks on that, but it's crazy. Now, tanks are going to take the number 2 spot for levers because they leave a lot too. I watched one tank. We did one pull. It was a tank's key, so it wasn't really a big deal. This was a couple months ago, and he was trying something. I'm assuming he was trying to pull for his other group. So he went in, pulled a huge pull, pulled everything. We ended up wiping. We got a bunch of mobs down, but we did end up wiping. He's like, "Well, good try, guys. Thanks," and then just bails. So it was an interesting one. I could tell by the route he linked that he did link a route and everything, so it was pretty well done that way. But I could tell if that pull didn't work, he was just gonna rip it. So you can see it, but you could tell that was coming. But I'm just using that for an instance. It was kind of a lever instance that you knew was gonna happen if it didn't work out. Lastly, I am putting healers as 3 because I have run some keys with some healers in this key level that they just bounced. First pull, like we didn't even wipe on the first pull. I had a healer pull out. I'm like, what the heck is this? It was very fast. Didn't understand that all of a sudden just boom, they're gone offline. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to fix this. The only thing I've thought of to fix this is a ranking system on leaving. So you would have to have a vote system. Like when you want to finish a key, you just vote like rip key. And then if it passes with a majority, you're done. Something like that might help. I don't know. I don't honestly know the answer to stop levers. I don't know whether giving them like a dungeon cooldown like you do if you leave in a regular dungeon. I don't think that would stop them at that level. They'll just swap to a different tune or something. So I don't know if you get a ranking system, if you leave too many keys without voting, but I can see the vote being a pain in the ass too. So I'm not sure a good way to fix this, but there's no punishment for leaving a key and leaving everyone else stranded. The only thing I could think of to help if someone leaves is being able to bring in someone else. That other person can't get loot, and once the person who leaves, they are dropped from the loot table as well. I don't know how, I don't know programming. I don't know if that's a huge pain in the ass, but allowing someone else in. So say you want to do a vault run, you wanted vault on a alt or something, but you had a 21 key. Someone said, yeah, we'll just finish it up. We'll get you vault 21. Someone leaves. You won't be able to finish the key without another DPS. You should be able to bring someone in. You won't be able to finish the key without the tank. Tank leaves. You should be able to bring one in, and the tank that left doesn't get loot, and the tank you bring in doesn't get loot. That's the only thing I can think of to help alleviate that. So other than that, it's a lot of toxic people. It seems in certain key levels for certain things. Like leaving, it is what it is. Just being toxic to other people, like it's just stop being an asshole. That's all it is. Like don't be a shithead. Like have some respect for some other people, and like it would be fine. But I find it's always around the like mid keys. It's never like the higher ones. The higher ones you don't see any real flaming. Anything above 22, usually it's a common, hey, the key's not working, you guys ripping it. Yeah, it's ripped. It just seems to be these are the worst key levels for toxic people. Flaming in group, blaming everyone. At this level, everyone knows what's going on. There's not much said in chat about anything. So unless you found different, just let me know in the comments below how you found out this season was. And if you like the idea of bringing someone else in for the levers to fill the group that they don't get loot on. So you have buddies that could come in, guildies that might help you out. I think that's the only solution for this. I don't know. Like, you can report the person. I don't think Blizzard actually gives a shit or looks at it. Other than that, I think you're on your own for the toxic people. It's just try not to be toxic yourself. But it's it's hard not to go back and full flame someone else who's, trying to be a bitch and like complain about every little thing going on in a key if if you're trying to be the bigger person. So I get that's hard for people too. So it kind of goes both ways. Toxicity continues on toxicity. But once that person leaves, like, if I don't know, I don't know. Just try not to go down to their level is all I'm saying. Anyways, don't forget to hit that like button, share, subscribe, deflect, Firm Affair Gaming. We'll see you in the next video.